not reading the scriptures from religious faith, but from scientific perspectives, I haven't found basis of any religions in the world. The most prominent religions are Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. I couldn't find basis for any of these religions when it comes to their inception. For example, Hinduism is widely considered to be the oldest religion in the world, but I couldn't trace any basis of the deities and their worships in Indian subcontinent more than 2000 years ago. I couldn't find any trace of the Vedas. I couldn't find any trace of the Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita before the 2000 years. So, there's no basis to call Hinduism to be the oldest religion. You can hardly find any trace of any temples dedicated to the major deities of Hinduism, which is more than 2000 years old, which can be conclusively, unequivocally proven to be dedicated to any of the major deities of Hinduism. There is no trace of Hanuman, there is no trace of Durga, there is no trace of Ramayan, none of them before 2000 years ago. When it comes to Christianity, the same applies. You can hardly find any evidence to suggest conclusively that Jesus Christ really existed, let alone taking him as a son of God. I couldn't trace any concrete evidence of Jesus existing 2000 years ago. There's no eyewitness record, no inscription which can be traced back to the lifetime of Jesus. You can always trace some sort of writings a few decades after Jesus' lifetime, alleged lifetime. When it comes to Islam, I couldn't trace existence not only of Muhammad, but none of his closest companions, including the rightly guided caliphs. I couldn't trace anything about them during their alleged lifetime. And also, I couldn't find any trace of the so-called greatest hadith narrators during their lifetime, or I couldn't trace them back to the lifetime of Muhammad. There's no evidence of Abu Huraira, no inscription which can be dated back to the time of Muhammad, alleged lifetime of Muhammad. Couldn't trace anything about the rightly guided caliphs which can be traced back to their alleged lifetime. No evidence of Abu Bakr, Omar, or Uthman ever to have lived. So there is no trace of Islam at its inception. And I couldn't trace anything to prove that Kaaba was there during alleged lifetime of Muhammad, or I couldn't find any evidence, any inscription to show during the lifetime of Muhammad that Muhammad was buried in Medina. I couldn't trace even more than 40% of Quran before even the 8th century, let alone I can't even take it back to the beginning of the 7th century. So all these religions were in fact made up. All of them. All of them are man-made, and there's no reason to believe that these religions are more than just mythological beliefs. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else.